Welcome back, and in today's lesson we're going to be going over perimeter and circumference. Now we'll start off first with perimeter. As a reminder, in case you forgot what perimeter is, it is the sum of the lengths of all of the sides of a polygon. Now, what we're essentially looking at is, that's an ugly arrow, we're looking at the distance around. So the distance around the entire shape. So on your shape here, there may have been some numbers that were not filled in for you. So make sure you get these numbers filled in. So all the ones that I've written in there, I believe the 8 feet was the only one that copied over onto yours. Now, we're looking for the perimeter here, we're looking at the distance all the way around this shape. So we want to add up all of the distances that get us back to our beginning. Now this is as simple as taking our 8 feet plus our 4 plus our 5 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 plus 5, and that'll get us back to our beginning. So if we started here, we went all the way around and got back to the beginning. Now all we have to do is add up all of these lengths, which adds up to 30 feet. And that's our final answer for the perimeter. So all that we were required to do was add up all of the lengths of each side. In this one here, we have most of the given lengths, but we're missing a length for here and here. So in order to find those out, we have to use the lengths that were already given. Now, if we look at, let's call this one A, we're trying to find A. Well, from here to here is 10 centimeters, and from here to here is 5 centimeters. So if we do 10 subtract 5 equals 5 centimeters, and we get that length for A. Now if we are looking for B here, we have, let's just get rid of these lines, from here to here is 8 centimeters, and from here to here is 2 centimeters. So that means for B, we'd have 8 subtract 2, which gives us 6 centimeters. Now all that's left to do is take all of our sides, so 8 plus 5 plus 6 plus 5 plus 2 plus 10, and that gets us back to where we started. So our perimeter would equal 36 centimeters. And don't forget your unit here. So again, for this one, we've only had to find out 2 sides, and we were able to do that based off of the sides that we already knew. For C, we're going to have to do the same thing because we don't know this line here, and this line here. I'm going to call this one A, this one B, and this one C. Now, in order to find out A, we need to find the length from here to here. Well, we know the entire length from here to here is 17, and we know from here to here, from the top to the bottom there, is 9 centimeters. So to find out A, it would equal 17 subtract our 9, so A equals 8 centimeters. So A equals 8 centimeters. Next, to find out b, well, let's get rid of these other lines so we don't get confused by them. We need to find out from here to here. We know the total distance, so the total width is 15 centimeters. We also know that from here to here and from here to here is 3 centimeters each, so subtract 3, and that gets us b equaling 9 centimeters. So 9 centimeters is for b. And the last one here is c, which is the same as a. So c will be 8 centimeters. Now that we have all of our lengths for our sides, we can solve for perimeter. So perimeter is going to equal, and I'm going to start right here. So 3 plus 17. Now this is 17 because it's the same as what's on this side here. Plus 15 plus 17 plus 3 plus 8 plus 9 plus 8. Once we add that all together, we'll get a perimeter of 80, and looking at our units, centimeters. Don't forget that unit, otherwise you'll be losing a half mark every time. For example 2, it says one side of a parallelogram measures 50 millimeters, while the second side measures 45 millimeters. Find the perimeter of the parallelogram. Well, the first thing that we need to start with is, if you're asking yourself what is a parallelogram because you forgot, I'm going to sketch this out for you. So you have your shape like this. It's coming across and coming across. So we have equal lengths on the top and bottom and equal lengths on the left and right, so on the two sides. Now it says for the parallelogram measures 50 millimeters, while the second side measures 45 millimeters. So we have one that is 50 millimeters and the other is 45 millimeters. Yeah, got jumbled together. Millimeters. Meaning that if the top is 50, the bottom is 50, and if the right is 45, the left is 45. And don't forget your unit. So, now that we have this all laid out together, what you need to do to calculate your perimeter is 50 plus 45 plus 50 plus 45. So your perimeter equals 190 millimeters. For example 3, it says find the perimeter of a square with all sides 16 centimeters. So that means you have a square and all sides, which are all the same on a square, are going to be 16 centimeters. I'm going to leave this one for you to calculate what the perimeter equals. B says find the perimeter of a rectangle with the length of 6 centimeters. So let's go with a length of 6 centimeters and a width of 4.5. I'm going to switch that just so it matches with their diagram. So 6 centimeters and 4.5 centimeters. And again, I'm going to leave this one for you to solve for what the perimeter is. Remember, the top and the bottom are the same, and the left and the right are the same. For example 4, a rectangular living room is 20 feet by 15 feet. What is the perimeter of the room? Well, we have a rectangle, and we have 20 feet by 15 feet. Just like the example above, you're going to have the same top and bottom and same left and right. So find the perimeter of this room. For B, I'd like to put baseboards in the room, but there is a French door in the room measuring 6 feet wide and 7 feet high. How much baseboard will you need? Well, we're still going based off of the room that's above. So we have our 20 by 20 and our 15 by 15. We have our feet. Now, for example, if we put our baseboard or our French door from here to here, and this is 6 feet, baseboards only go around the bottom as a trim, so we really don't care about how high it is. That's added information that we really don't need. All that we need to figure out is, based off the perimeter, subtracting how wide our French door is, how much surface area or how much perimeter do we need for the baseboards? So what we have to do is take our perimeter, which is 20 plus 20 plus 15 plus 15, and this is what you would have done in the above question already, and got an answer of 70 feet. Now we have 70 feet, subtract our 6 feet for the French door, and that's going to leave us with 64 feet remaining, which will be for the baseboard. So we need 64 feet of baseboard. And that'll go all the way around the room and not go over where the door will be. Now that was quick, but we got through all of the perimeter questions there. The biggest thing is you're looking at calculating the distance all the way around the outside of the shape. Now we're going to be looking at circumference. Circumference is the measure of the perimeter of a circle. Now there's two different formulas that we can look at for this. You can have C equals 2 pi r, so circumference equals 2 times the pi times the radius, or you can have circumference equals pi times diameter. Now, in case you forgot the difference between the radius and the diameter, the radius is from the middle to the very outside, where the diameter, now that is a terrible circle. Let's see if I can get a nicer one. The diameter is all the way across. So it's across over the middle, but it's from one side to the other. When we're looking at the shapes below, we'll be given different options. So we'll be given the radius, we'll be given the diameter. Some are going to be half circle, one's going to be a quarter circle. So we're going to have to look at all the different ways to calculate this. When we're looking at just using the radius, we're going to do circumference equals 2 pi r. Now, we have a radius of 4 inches, so we can go C equals 2 pi times 4. Once we put this into our calculator, 2 times pi times 4, we get a circumference of 25.1 inches. Again, do not forget your unit. For this example here, we have circumference, and we have 15, which is our diameter. So we're going to use C equals pi times the diameter. So C equals pi times 15. And we're going to find out that that equals 47.1 meters. Moving over to half of the circle means that we are going to have half of our answer that we get out of the formula, which means we're going to be dividing our final answer by 2. So we have from this side to this side, meaning we have our diameter. So circumference equals pi times your diameter. Circumference equals pi times 10, which equals 31.4 centimeters. We're not done though. We have to then divide this by 2 because we want half of our answer. So 31.4 divided by 2 gets us 15.7 centimeters. And that's going to be the total distance that we're looking for. Now, the last thing that we need to do for this is that tells us the distance all the way around the outside. We then have to take our perimeter, which is going to be 15.7 plus our 10, because we need to get this distance all the way from here to complete our perimeter. So our perimeter equals 15.7 plus 10, which gives us 25.7 centimeters. Don't just find the arc around the top and not add that other part of it. For this one here, we have a quarter. That helps if I write the right thing. We have a quarter of a circle. So we have a quarter of the circumference. So first, we're going to find out our circumference. Then we have a side that is 3 millimeters, and this one will be 3 millimeters as well. And we know that this is our radius. So the first thing that we need to do is circumference equals 2 pi r. Circumference equals 2 times pi times our radius, which is 3. So our circumference ends up equaling 18.8 millimeters. To again find just the portion that we need to divide this by 4. So our circumference that we're really working with is 4.7 millimeters. Now we're not done because we need to add the two sides that are showing there. So our perimeter equals 4.7 plus 3 plus 3. So perimeter equals 10.7 millimeters. Usually when I'm thinking about circles, I'm thinking about pizza, and that's what we have here is a pizza problem. So we're looking at the diameter of a pizza is 26.3 centimeters. What is the perimeter of the pizza? Well, let's see. The pizza, not the most circular pizza, but that'll do for this situation. The pizza is 26.3 centimeters for its diameter. We want to find the circumference, so the perimeter of this circle. If we have the diameter, we're going to use C equals pi times the diameter. C equals pi times 26.3. And our circumference will come out to 82.6 centimeters. And for our last one here, no, unfortunately, this isn't a hockey rink. It is just a flower garden. For this one, it says the sides of the flower garden shown below are 4 meters long. So from here to here are 4 meters long. That means on the top, here to here, is going to be 4 meters long as well. Each end is a semicircle, so coming right down, If you take each sides of the semicircle and join it together, you would have one complete circle. It has a diameter of 2 meters, meaning this one is going to be 2 meters, helps if that's an M, 2 meters as well. What is the perimeter of this flower garden? So, we already know the top and the bottom are 4 meters. What we have to find is this part and this part. So the arcs or the circumference of these semicircles. So we have a half circle and a half here, which then makes a whole altogether. So we only have to calculate it with the diameter, and we don't have to divide it by 2. So circumference equals pi times the diameter. Circumference equals pi multiplied by 2 meters. I guess we don't need the m in there for now. So c, which is our circumference, equals pi times 2, which is 6.3 meters. Now remember, that's the distance for both together. Add 6.3 twice because that's the distance for a whole circle, and we have 2 half circles. The last thing that we need to do is calculate our perimeter. So our perimeter is 6.3 for the 2 half circles, plus our top, which is 4, and our bottom, which is 4. So our perimeter equals 14.3 meters. Geez, I can't make M's. Meters. And that is going to bring this lesson to a close. So today we looked at going through perimeter and going through circumference as well. If you have any questions, please make sure you're asking me in class.